Hello, everyone. Today I'm going to talk about the power of emotion in learning and how emotional intelligence shapes student success. As educators, we know that learning isn't just about content, it's also about feelings. Or, as the quote says, when we engage the heart, we engage the mind. Throughout this presentation, we'll explore the theory behind emotional intelligence, see the neuroscience in action, and examine practical examples from our classrooms. My central question is, how and why does emotional intelligence, or EI, impact learning? Emotional intelligence is not just a soft skill. It's a critical factor in how students process information, engage with content, and interact with others. So today we'll cover the science behind emotion and learning, emotional and cultural factors in our school, practical strategies to develop emotional intelligence in students, and finally, resources for further study. By the end, I hope you'll see EI as an essential part of teaching, not just as an add-on. Emotions influence attention, memory, and motivation. Research on knowledge emotions, curiosity, pride, and even confusion, shows that these feelings actually foster deeper learning. When students experience curiosity or surprise, their brains are more receptive to new information. For example, if a student encounters a challenging problem and feels curiosity rather than frustration, they're more likely to persist. Emotional awareness in the classroom helps students recognize these feelings and use them to enhance learning. Emotional intelligence, or EI, is the ability to recognize, understand, and manage our own emotions while empathizing with others. According to Goleman, EI has 5 components: self-awareness, knowing your emotional state; self-regulation, managing impulses and stress; motivation, using emotions to stay focused on goals; empathy, understanding others' emotions; and social skills, building healthy relationships. EI is foundational for classroom relationships, peer collaboration, and even academic performance. Without it, even bright students might struggle to engage or collaborate effectively. Research in neuroscience shows that emotions directly affect brain processes involved in learning. Positive emotions increase neural connections and improve memory retention. Stress, on the other hand, can impair working memory and focus. The heart-brain connection video demonstrates how social and emotional learning strengthens not only emotional regulation, but also cognitive performance. This proves that supporting students emotionally is just as important as delivering content. So every classroom has its own cultural and emotional landscape. Some students may be dealing with stress at home, language barriers, or identity challenges. Others may experience a lack of belonging or microaggressions, or have anxiety or low self-esteem. Emotional intelligence helps teachers navigate these issues with sensitivity, creating a culturally responsive, emotionally safe environment allows all students to thrive. Awe and curiosity, as discussed in the Science of Awe, can help bridge cultural gaps and make students feel connected. In practice, EI looks like teachers modeling calmness during conflict, guiding students through reflective exercises, and fostering empathy through group work. For example, in our school, we have morning check-ins where students share feelings and goals. Teachers actively listen and model emotional regulation. Peer mentoring programs also help students practice empathy and social skills. These strategies transform theoretical EI concepts into real daily experiences. Awe is a particularly powerful emotion. Research shows that experiencing awe, rather through a field trip, a guest speaker, or a science experiment, increases openness, curiosity, and engagement. Curiosity drives motivation, which leads to better learning outcomes. For instance, when our students watched a live experiment on chemical reactions, their fascination led to more in-depth questions and long-term retention of the material. Awe and curiosity are tools we can use intentionally to improve learning. By combining knowledge of emotions with EI principles, we can create a holistic learning environment. Confusion, surprise, or even frustration can be productive if students are supported emotionally. Emotional regulation and empathy help students navigate challenges, collaborate with peers, and persist in problem solving. Here are some practical strategies. Daily emotional check-ins to gauge students' emotional states. Reflective journaling or goal setting to help students process emotions. Mindfulness or gratitude exercises to regulate stress. Collaborative activities to foster empathy and perspective taking. These strategies are research-based and align with both EI theory and neuroscience. They can be adapted to any classroom setting. To summarize, emotional intelligence isn't just a nice to have. It's essential for student learning and growth. Emotionally safe environments support academic success. When teachers lead with empathy, model self-regulation, and foster curiosity, students are more engaged, resilient, and motivated. For those interested in learning more, here are some key resources. These include foundational texts like Goleman's Emotional Intelligence, research on knowledgeable emotions, white papers on awe, and videos on neuroscience of learning. I encourage you to explore these materials and consider how they might influence your practice. I like to end with a few questions, so consider these. What emotional or cultural challenges do your students face most? How can we model emotional intelligence in our daily interactions? What resources or supports would help teachers develop IE further? Let's think about some ideas and reflect on how we can make emotional intelligence a central part of our teaching practice.